Hey guys, Kickassreaction here, and we are back to conclude Frieren. We're doing episodes 27 and 28 in this set, and finishing off this anime for, I'd say for good, but probably just for a little while, you know? Obviously, we're not finishing the overall story at this point, and no doubt Frieren will either get a movie or a continuation of some sort in the second season or whatever. But this is it, you know? We finished off the second trial in the last set with both Frieren and Fern still participating, as well as almost all of our notable characters in the season, you know. So, Verbal, Denken, Frieren, Fern, obviously, Bland, and Yubel are all a part of the final class trial. And, yeah, we did lose some people, you know. We lost Licha and we lost Loeen, but Kani is still in this as well, so that's pretty cool. So some casualties last time, but no deaths overall, so I mean, that's all we gotta really hope for, right? But yeah, expectations, I guess, will finally have this this SERIE and Frieren reunion, you know, as it seems like it's been over 1,000 years since they saw each other. Obviously, I'm suspecting that Frieren will pass the trial, as well as Fern, so that's gonna be really fun to see. And just, yeah, see what their mindsets are, see how much they've changed over the 1,000 years. Obviously, Frieren's changed quite a bit in the last century alone. So it's going to be really fun to see that, you know. And even though Frieren may not take a grimoire from SERIE, they're still Fern, you know, and there's still, not only Fern, but, you know, not even those two, just who else would actually take the spells, and what else the other participants want. I'm really curious about that as well. What would Yubel take, Blonde, you know, what other grimoires do these people have in mind? Because I gotta assume people beyond just, you know, our core cast would actually, would pass this trial. But we'll see. So yeah, this is it, guys. 2 more episodes to go, and Frieren is gone for the, foreseeable future, at least, you know? But yeah. Anyway, let's begin this. Episode 27 in 3, 2, 1. And play. Okay, I don't know why it didn't start with the sub song. But yeah. Remember Stark? Nice. Oh my god. What is she mad about this time? This is honestly getting a little repetitive now because, you know, had quite a bit of that in the last 2 trials. For like any time now they're starting to write a Stark-Fern interaction, it's just starting out with Fern's mad about something, you know? And while it's cute, do it too much, it gets annoying. But yeah. Final 2 times for this intro. Head pats, hand holds, dining, wine and dined. All the classic stuff of a true friendship. Yeah, sadly, only Kani is still around for this. Some of these potatoes are out, but not all. Bland, the guy that both always and never bleeds, which is funny. I'd have to listen to both OPs, I think, back to back to redetermine what my favourite one is. Because they're both great, to be fair, you know, they are both incredible. Both in visuals and song, of course. An Era of Humans, so definitely a series coming up here. Oh yeah, yeah, it did happen, didn't it?
フリーレン様に伝えました。そうしたら古い杖は捨てて新しい杖を買った方がいいと。
あの杖だろ。粉々だからもう直せないって言っていたぜ。
Yeah, it's the one that Hetsia gave
ハ
her.
イター様からもらった杖です。小さな頃からずっと一緒だったん
Far
です。
too much sentimental value.
フリーレンだぜ。悪気があったわけじゃ。
少なくとも私には捨てるだなんて発想はありませんでした。
Aww.
次の一級試験まで3年か。3年は長いよね。
いつもみたいにバカにしろよ。
バカにしてほしいの？
いや、
じゃあラビーネちゃん、なでなでしてあげよっか。
Nice. Head pats all around.
やんのか？
早くしろ。
こりゃ重傷だね。あ、フリーレンだ。ん？何その袋？
Yeah, the staff.
おい、いつまでいるつもりだ。俺はもう試験に落ちたんだ。もう他人だろ。商売の邪魔だから帰れ。
わしは今客としてここにいる。
ならさっさと選べ。
Little rude. Oh my. I'm surprised they allow eating in here.
開ける。
いらん。
今回は運が悪かったな。そんな役回りだ。あの場にいた誰もがそうなる可能性があった。
負けは負けだ。俺の実力が足りなかった。だがその話は二度とするな。こう見えて俺は今最悪な気分なんだ。
それでも店はやるんだな。
デンケン、お前は知らないだろうが、どんな最悪な気分でも人は食っていくために働かなければならん。
そうか。
ま、落ちたのが俺でよかったんじゃないか。一級試験は3年に一度。デンケン、お前みたいな老いぼれに3年後はないかもしれない。
Wow. That's like your only insult you have for him. It's just he's pecking a few years on.
リヒター、お前は本当に生意気な若造だ。権威をバカにし、目的のためなら弱者を足毛にすることもいとわない。とても褒められたような人間ではない。なのにわしはお前に何の嫌悪も抱いていない。
I mean, it's not really that deep.
きっと
You know?
昔、わしがそういう生意気な若造だったからだ。そんなわしが今は宮廷魔法使いの地位にいる。
何が言いたい？
You'll grow.
そう悲観するなということだ。3年後のお前は今よりずっと強くなっている。ラオフェン、帰るぞ。
I like how he'd even buy it.
ごめんね。じいさん不器用なんだ。
お前はデンケンの何なんだよ。老いぼれが結局何も買ってこない。
Exactly. Ah. Now that's a customer.
今日は薬日か何かなのか。
町の人たちに聞いて回ったんだけど、ここならどんなに壊れた杖でも修理できるんだよね。
見せてみろ。
No, that's gone.
このバラバラの物体は何だ。まさか杖なのか。こんなゴミをよこされても困る。
ゴ
Damn.
ミじゃないよ。多分。
The mage who is hiring than you used it.
少しは気分が良くなっていたが、お前のせいで最悪な気分に逆戻りだ。俺にだって仕事を選ぶ権利はある。この杖は諦めろ。
I actually wonder. I don't know how how magic works exactly in this world is a little vague, especially for the items and equipment and whatnot. Is that literally just a piece of shit like stick you picked up out of the woods and gave it to her as a staff. But you can pretty much use anything you can focus. You can use magic on any item you can focus enough on and use it as a staff. So is that literally just some stick, some fucking tree branch he picked up out of the forest? That'd be funny, you know, because obviously nothing else we've seen is made out of wood, so... And he wasn't a mage, so that'd be pretty funny if that was literally just something he found and said, here, have a staff.
そう。できないならいいや。
フリーレン、お前は本当に勘に触るやつだ。俺がいつできないとまで言った。
Just get me some duct tape.
今日中にできそう。第三次試験には間に合わせたいから。
無茶を言いやがって。フリーレン。
何？
ゴミだなんて言って悪かった。手入れの行き届いたいい杖だ。さぞかし大事にされていたんだろう。
Nah. Oh my god, she's not eating sweets.
フェルン、もう帰ろうぜ。
フリーレン様は私のことをまるで分かっていません。
そんなの俺だってわかんねえよ。
Wow. What were you expecting there, you fool? Also, those sound effects.
だからさ、分かろうとするのが大事だと思うんだよ。フリーレンは頑張っていると思うぜ。
Oh my god, he literally got a couple of staffs there made out of
ああ、
wood.
お前。フリーレン
That
と
thing looks exactly like Fern's
弟
staff.
子か？違ったか？
まあいや、そうだよ。
ま、どっちでもいいが、二次試験が終わったばかりだっていうのに、今日はお前の師匠のおかげで散々だった。いっそのこと慎重してくれた方がこっちも儲かるってのにな。
Aw, now you went and spoiled the surprise. And these are the moments where you really feel like shit. When she actually went out and fixed it.
フリーレンは感情や感性に乏しい。それが原因で困難や行き違いが起こることもあるでしょう。でも一つだけいいこともあります。その分だけきっとフリーレンはあなたのために思い悩んでくれる。彼女以上の死はなかなかいませんよ。
She's silly, she's immature, and she's a goofball. But she cherishes everyone in her heart. And that's what matters most. You better be on your fucking knees and hands apologizing, girl. Okay. Everyone has a colorful hairdo, so we're all in the next test.
フリーレン様、昨日は。
何？
いえ、やっぱり何でもありません。
そう。
それではこれより第三次試験を始めます。
なぜ私がここまで出向いたか。
Hey!
全然。
Because there's an elf here.
だんまりか。都合が悪い時はいつもそうだな。第二次試験の合格者は12名。
And that's
異例の合格者数だ。
okay, that's fair too.
多すぎる。
No one ever does that.
全員協力型の試験は大いに結構だ。今の一級魔法使いには協調性がないからな。
面目ありません。
だがその中にあってはならないほどの実力を持った者がいた。
I mean, they're all kind of silly if you think about it.
おかげで実力に見合わない者まで大勢合格した。
Oh.
従来通りの第三次試験ではそいつらは全員死ぬことになる。 全然。それはお前の望みとはかけ離れたものだ。それに私とてそこまでの無駄死にはさすがに望んでいない。
ゼーリエ様、
謝る必要はない。すべてフリーレンが悪い。異例には異例を。第三次試験は私が担当する。平和的に選別してやる。従来の担当はお前だったな。異論はないな、レルネン。
Nah.
ゼイリエ様のわがままは今に始まったことではありませんから。それに私はフリーレン様を試すような器ではありま
It's
せ
a
ん。
shame. You look like a very interesting fella.
一目見てわかりました。彼女は魔力を制限しています。
That, and we know that no one can tell that from her, so that's really
ゼ
cool.
イリエ様に匹敵するほどの。
Jesus, seriously.
ファルシュ。
She's
気がついた。
so she's even kind of a prodigy among the elves. If she's equal to
彼女の魔
Siri.
力は試験会場で直接見ました。あの魔力は制限されたものとは思えません。制限特有の魔力の揺らぎもなかった。この揺らぎは魔力を持った生物である限り消せるものではありません。仮にそれが可能だったとしても途方もない時間が必要でしょう。
She's literally an
と
elf,
て
you
も実
fool.
用的な技術とは思えません。
To a human.
その実用的でない技術にフリーレンは生涯を捧げた。魔族を欺くために。魔族は私たち人類よりもはるかに魔
Yep,
力に
we learned all this in that little arc.
生まれ持った才覚でもなければ100年や200年制限したところで欺けるものじゃない。まさに時間の無駄だ。その時間を別の鍛錬に使えば何倍も強くなれる。非効率極まりない。だがその非効率が相手の隙を生み出すこともある。熟練の魔法使いの戦いにおいて相手の魔力を見誤るというのは死に直結しかねない。
Nice toes.
現にフリーレンは
Yeah, literally, we had a whole episode on this information.
そうやって魔族を打ち倒してきた。それほどまでにフリーレンの魔力制限は洗練されている。私の知る限りそれをたった一目で見破ったのは魔王だけだ。今この瞬間まではな、レルネ。
偶然です。偶然わずかな揺らぎが見えた。それだけです。
Still,
実に
You
謙
did
虚
it.
堅実だ。
regardless of reason or how much.
お前が最初の一級魔法使いになってから半世紀が過ぎた。お前は臆病な坊やのままだな。
Wow.
それだけに残念でならん。これだけの境地に立っておきながら追い先はもう短い。
The problem with humans.
フリーレンと戦うことはこの先一生ないだろう。それがたとえ勝てる戦いであっても。やはり人間の弟子は取るものではないな。
Fair enough.
本当に残念だ。
Yeah, we already saw this. It's like any human that's worth it just dies so soon to him.
私の魔力の揺らぎが。
第三次試験の内容は
Oh.
大魔法使いゼーリエによる面接です。準備
そうきた
できたい。
か。
順番に
ゼー
呼ぶので
リエは私とフェルンを受からせる気はないね。
お知り合いなんですか？
昔のね。多分直感で合格者を選ぶつもりだろうね。でもゼーリエの直感はいつも正しい。現に私は未だにゼーリエが望むほどの魔法使いにはなれ
And
て
you
いない。
probably never will. To be fair. Well, let's see how this goes. I didn't say it, but I love the robes that Siri wears. Oh, and we just discard that.
不合格だ。
Whoa!
理由を聞いてもいい？
今もお前は私の魔力に恐怖を感じている。自分の身の丈がよく分かっているんだ。
Damn, all that!
一級魔法使いになった自分の姿がイメージできないだろう。魔法の世界ではイメージできないものは実現できない。基礎の基礎だ。帰れ。不合格。
Fair enough.
不合格。不合格。不合格。
See, this is the funny thing, right? Like, I get it. I get why. Because they go into the whole... They've spent this arc going on about the visualization of magic and whatnot. It doesn't make it any less funny. For how many episodes we've spent with these characters, learning these characters, appreciating these characters. Any other show? Big kind of battle or test where they prove the odds or fail and are still satisfied? Nope, no. We're just throwing that away because you fail. Instantly. Oh, that's got a sting.
フリーレン、お前も一級魔法使いになった自分の姿をイメージ
She really doesn't care either way.
だが他の受験者とは異なる理由だ。お前は私が合格を出すとは微塵も思っていない。
事実でしょ。
Damn, that intuition is pretty
一
good.
度だけチャンスをやる。好きな魔法を言ってみろ。
花畑を出す魔法。
Nice.
フランメから教わった魔法か。実にくだらない。不合格だ。
Wow.
そう。
Oh, that said nut off for a second.
愚弄されたのに食い下がりすらしないのか。お前のような魔法使いが魔王を倒したとは到底信じられん。
But that's the thing. As much as you call Frieren blinded,
私一人の
you're
力じゃ
also
ないよ。
pretty blinded to a lot of the world.
アイゼン、ハイター、私。一人でも欠けていたら倒せなかった。
仲間に恵まれたか。運が良かったな。
そうだよ。運が良かった。ねえヒンメル、どうして私を仲間にしたの？
強い魔法使いを探していたからね。
それならオートにいくらでもいるでしょ。
Yeah, but
私じゃなくてもいい。
you're the hottest.
君がいいと思ったんだ。
なんで？
フリーレン、君は覚えていないだろうけれども、昔僕は一度だけ君と会ったことがある。
Oh.
うん、全然覚えていない。
だろうね。子供の頃、森に薬草を取りに入った時、道に迷った。長い間、夜の森をさまよって、人生で初めて孤独を味わった。もう二度と村に帰れないかと思ったよ。
And then a happy, well, not a happy, but an apathetic elf
一人
found
の
you.
エルフが人里の方向を教えてくれた。本当に方向を教えるだけで励ましの言葉一つ口にしなかった。子供心になんて冷たい人だと思ったよ。僕のそんな不安を感じ取ったのか、それともただの気まぐれだったのか。
Hey, not one act of kindness went a long way.
僕に
Hey!
を見せてくれた。
Oh, that is beautiful. How many lives has that spell
綺麗だ
touched?
と思ったんだ。生まれて初めて魔法を
And that's when it goes back to the episode 2, I think it was, with the spells about flowers.
とこれはただの偶然に過ぎないことだけれども。
And how Haim always loved those blue flowers.
先生が教えてくれたくだらない魔法だよ。それからゼーリエ、フェルンも同じように不合格にするつもりだろうけれども、多分それはできないよ。あの子はゼーリエの想像を超えるよ。人間の時代がやってきたんだ。
何が想像を超えるだ。私の魔力を見て立ちすくんでいる。他の受験者と何ら変わらん。
Or is she?
待て、お前、何が見えている？
She sees your entire mana. They said that other guy didn't see it, but she does. Finally.
とか言ったな。
Finally, someone saw it!
お前、私の弟子になれ。
Oh, wow.
嫌です。
Fair enough.
悪いようにはしない。私ならお前をより高みへと連れて行ける。未だかつて魔法使いがたどり着いたことのないほどの高みへ。
それは合否と関係があるのですか？
あるかもしれない。
Yeah, it's not happening. But we need to pass the border, so obviously she's gonna pass.
ゼーリエ様。
フェルン、ゼーリエがいろいろと言ってくると思うけれども、要求を飲む必要はないよ。私がゼーリエに何を言っても不合格になるように、フェルンは何を言っても合格になる。だってゼーリエの直感はいつも正しいから。
Fair enough.
私はフリーレン様の弟子です。
フリーレンの入れ知恵だな。私は有望な魔法使いを見逃すほどバカじゃない。合格だ。
Nice! Now, what spell do you want? What a sus final test. That is big oof. I guess we'll see in the next one if she chooses to take a spell or not. I'm assuming not, and she'll follow the mentality of, you know, it's about the journey because she is truly Miss Frieren's student. I feel a little bad for the others, but, you know, bias of Frieren and all that good shit and intuition. God, I almost wonder if, like, one of the producers or something got their kid to make this doll. I don't know. Remember when they were making episode 1, they showed, like, a kid a picture of Frieren and just put some arts and crafts in front of him and was like, hey, make this. There's a decent paycheck in it for you if you do. I'll buy you some McDonald's. Alright, okay, so that was episode 27. And big oof to a lot of the people that actually went through all that stuff in the last 2 trials and did not actually pass, which is funny. Now, I think that Yubel's probably going to pass because we already went through how she can visualize and imagine things that most mages cannot do. We went through that with the thread analogy and, you know, cutting the fabric last time. She could probably see, you know, herself beating SERIE or not be intimidated by her and whatnot. But we saw the potential of Fern right there. How apparently she is the first ever human who has ever been able to see the fluctuations in SERIE's mana oppressant, and because of that, she saw the full extent of SERIE's mana, which we haven't truly seen yet, which probably is exponentially bigger than Frieren's, you know, which is pretty funny. Obviously we went through a lot of information we already knew about in the like episode 9, I think it was like 8, 9, and 10, all that stuff with like you know, the demons trying to take over the village and whatnot, and you know, we saw that about how mana suppressant is pretty much not a thing really viable to humanity because it takes so long to use, and the only one that really learnt it beforehand was Flammy, and now the only one that's really learnt it fully as well is Fern, you know. But I do like that, you know. Obviously SERIE again hasn't changed much in the last 1,000 years. She still sees that humans are kind of just whatever, you know, like They might have potential to learn magic, and they get powerful, but again, it's the same kind of mind block because of her own perception of time. Humans just aren't really a species worth teaching to her because in her own, in her own perception of time, they die out so quickly, right? So it's potential, but it's potential that lasts so little time that again, it's like, well, I don't really like it. I don't really see much point in it, but she does still do it for some of them because again, this is the era of humans, right? Humans now drive the world. Humans have the most control and influence on the world now beyond elves and demons and everything. So it's still reasonable to teach them, but she still doesn't really like it all much, right? And apparently, yeah, even the old guy, the first ever first class mage, actually hasn't seen much of a fluctuation in Ciri's power whatsoever. And it might have just been little hints that was botching to him on his own. But he's never seen the full extent of her mana. I think that's what they're implying there. But Fern picked it up instantly. Fern instantly saw the fluctuations in such a skilled suppressor like Ciri, and that is when, despite being taught by an elf, that's when Ciri kind of fully accepted that this is the era of humanity, because now something that she's never seen possible in humans before is now possible, and Fern saw that flux, and it's like, well, this is it. This is it now. This is humanity's era, pretty much. And that was incredible. That was really fun to see. Fern is now the first class mage. Really fun. Obviously, I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the next episode, because again, the Grimoire thing, obviously not really Frieren's thing, but Fern is another story. Again, Fern really, I feel, to find her own kind of ambitions and styles and whatnot, because she takes mostly over Frieren, but she still has a lot of growing, a lot of person to really find about herself. So I'll be curious if that is a thing she's interested in right now, or if she's not. Who knows? I mean, they never said anything about how you rejecting the offer right now doesn't mean you can't take it up later. If you take this exam and don't really know the kind of spell you want, is it still up for grabs at a later date because you are still a first-class mage by that point? Don't really know. But obviously now we have the main kind of reason for doing this at all is, it succeeded, right? Just to pass the border, to keep going on to the Demon King's castle and get out. Now that Fern is a first-class mage, they pretty much have access to, I think, wherever they want on the planet without any kind of waiting times or military interruptions or anything, Despite the fact that obviously Frieren is a lot more powerful, Fern does have the official qualification now, and of course that's going to get us through pretty much anywhere else. So, again, when we get a Season 2, it's going to be very interesting to see how we approach that level of authority that Fern has now, because again, a lot of the interruptions and the stops at this point were actually just mates because we genuinely couldn't pass, be it the weather, be it, the dangers in the military stopping citizens, or just mates in general from going. Fern is now the highest class mage you can get, so those obstacles won't be there next time, which is very interesting. So like I said, I'm really curious to see where we actually go with that. We've got some more backstory on Heimel. Apparently, Frieren was helping him out long before he ever even became a mage, and of course, she brought kind of the light and wonder of such a basic spell to the child, and that image was burned in his brain indefinitely, and that was his reason for finding Frieren. It wasn't just a coincidental, meet-up that he found and sensed great potential in her or knew about elves or anything. No. He reached out because she's the first person ever that really helped him, and the first person that helped him when he felt truly alone in the world. And he wanted to repay that tenfold by making her experience the same things that he experienced, because he could tell. Even if Frieren didn't know it, he could tell that she was kind of lonely and, wanted to share the wonders of friendship and magic and whatnot with her, which is really fun to see. And because of those small actions, even by Frieren standards, the butterfly effect took over there, and that is how Frieren now lives her life. It took longer than Heimel's life ever, expanded to, but he truly did both save the world and save the life of his waifu, because now Frieren finally sees the value in her relationships, in friendships, you know, in any kind of relationship, which is pretty fun. Romance is still not really her strong suit, and again, not the species strong suit in general, but she's now living her life. She's living her life for others, she's living her life for herself, and hey, again, this is all gonna make when that eventual meetup at heaven all the sweeter. I can't even imagine what they do at this point for that. That's gonna be so interesting, right? Because, again, the entire series is kind of the build-up to that one moment, that one special moment in Frieren's life and Heimel's afterlife when they finally meet, and I almost feel like it's near impossible to do it justice at this point with how well they've built it up. I just don't know. But obviously that's a story for a much later point in time, because again, not going to happen anytime soon. And of course we had the whole beginning part where, you know, again, we go on the Frieren. She loves her people, you know. Fern's still a little emotionally unstable, but she's only, what? I think they actually said her birthday at some point in the show as well. She's only a teenager still, you know, so very fluctuating in terms of her mood swing, which is pretty funny. But obviously, Frieren loves and cares and respects everyone she comes across now, and while she is a little, you know, again, monotone and apathetic in her, you know, in her character, deep down, those feelings are still slowly but surely coming out for her, you know, different processing times for species, and it's still really fun to see. And Fern, well, she finally was reminded yet again how much Frieren does care about her, which was fun. So, one final episode to go. Although Fern did pass, and we'll no doubt see all of that in the next episode, and possibly again we'll see Frieren and SERIE, because we finally got that interaction again, which was really fun to see. We still have Yubel, Bland, and Denken, I think, of the main... Oh no, Verbal too. He wasn't done yet, was he? We still have a few people left to actually pass or not pass, and obviously that's going to be really fun to see. And yeah, this was fun, right? Again, I don't know if we'll ever have another interaction with SERIE and Frieren in the show. I would really hope we do, because even though, you know, she might still see Frieren as a bit of a lost cause, a bit of a, you know, an idiot for how she perceives magic and how she perceives, you know, herself, and how she hasn't really changed in the last 1,000 years. The fact that Frieren, someone that she kind of deems as kind of hopeless, again, trained this human, which was now like the peak of the new era of humanity, I think might give her a little different perspective on her, but we'll see. As we do know, her intuition is never wrong, so still makes the interaction there very fun, very interesting, and very meaningful. So guys, we'll do the break, and when we come back, the final episode of Frieren will be done. So I'll see you guys in a second. Alright guys, one final episode to go. Episode 28. Let's do it. Now.
私はフリーレン様の弟子です。
合格だ。
Yeah, not surprising.
次。
I do kind of, well, actually, no, so I'd feel very bad, honestly, for everyone else, because, like, the only reason Siri's doing this is because Frieren is in the exam specifically. So if she wasn't there, they'd have another trial altogether, and they might actually pass. So yeah, as much as Frieren, you know, makes changes in everyone's lives, they're not all positive. Oh, what a cop-out, man. If anything, she was hindering the previous trial, because that bloody clone thing of her was actually a lot stronger than anyone could take down. Oh well. Alright, out. Denkun hasn't been shown yet. Disqualified. Disqualified. Yet to be seen on both of these. Disqualified. Except for verbal.
宮廷魔法使いの伝剣。お前のことはよく知っている。
それは光栄だな。
軍所属の魔法使いの叩き上げが 今や北側諸国で最も権力を持った魔法使いだ。その美談はよく聞く。正直お前が若い頃に会いたかった。
You would have been a good student.
血の気と野心に満ち溢れた若かりし頃に。私は燃えかすには興味はない。
Damn.
そう思っていたのだがな。
今は違うのか。
お前、私を見たとき、どう戦うか考えた。
Damn. Dude, that intuition's gotta be some kind of secret spell only she knows. What the hell?
すぐに諦めた。
合格だ。まだ燃えている。
And
普通は戦うだなんて発想は湧かない。次。
and this kind of shows that SERIE isn't right about everything because she underestimated Denken.
合格だ。
Nice.
まだ何も話していないけど。
Doesn't matter.
会話が必要
You think anyone would be happy if you didn't pass?
それもそうだね。
Was she thinking about how to kill her?
お前、ふざけるなよ。
何が？
You don't even
これは
come in.
一級試験だぞ。
Yeah.
試験会場に一度も来ないバカがどこにいる？
一応この通り生身の僕も試験会場に来ているよ。じゃなきゃ不参加で。
この試験期間中、本体は故郷の村から出ていないな。
What?
今はのんびりティータイムか。
Oh my god, what?
驚いた。
Oh!
ゆうべにもバレなかったのに。
実にいい度胸。
Holy shit!
次。
He's never even been here!
北部魔法隊隊長。
Oh, that is so sick. Dude, I love Blonde even
私の知る
more.
に級魔
Oh
法
my
使いの中
god.
では一番の武闘派だ。
Oh, you better show these characters again in season 2.
勝てない相手だと悟ったな。だがそれは恐怖による判断ではない。
Just a factual observation.
するバカは2級魔法使いにすらなれねえだろ。
それもそうだ。好きな魔法を教えろ。
魔法ってのは殺しの道具だぜ。好きも嫌いもあるか。
合格だ。
Wanna be my apprentice?
次。
That was almost like a feral grin on her face there.
お前。
She likes that
私を
answer.
見てどう思った？
ちっちゃくて可愛いなと思いました。
Wow.
今年の受験者はどう思った？合格だ。
Okay. Nice. So everyone in this episode passed.
全然すまなかったな。確かに今年は豊作だ。
Quite a lot of first class though.
次があるさ。
もうついてくるなよ。
Yeah, she is never gonna stop following you. She's literally your Toko now, Mr. Byakuya. He's even blonde with the glasses as well, which is even funnier. And she even oh my god, that pairing. That pairing is also even better than I thought first of all.
そう。
Alright, I want to see what grimoires they all choose.
なあ、フェラン。まだかよ。
It's an eternal mystery that will never be decided upon. Pretzels or cookies. Be very careful.
これにしましょう。これ。
ふむ。遠慮せず食べなさい。わしの若い頃は甘いものなんてめったに食べられなかった。
ありがとうございます。
Look at that face.
この状況。
Girls love their sweeties, apparently.
若造も食べろ。
ああ。ありがとう、じいさん。
What's this? I'm allowed to eat sweets in Fern's presence? Preposterous.
誰なの？
宮廷魔法使いの電剣様です。
宮廷魔法使い。
Now a first class mage.
お貴族様じゃねえか。タメ口叩いてすみませんでした。
Nice.
構わん。わしは魔法使いとして
Kind of a mixed relationship he has with
でも
nobles most of
無
the
関
time.
係な俺までご馳走してもらうのは
どうせ金の使い道などない。
ないってことはないでしょ
そうです。お孫さんとか。
わしには子も孫もおらん。わしが20半ばの時に妻に先立たれた。もともと体が弱かった。戦争に敗れた北部高原の辺境貴族の令嬢でな。あの頃のわしには富も権力も必要だった。それしか救う手立てをわしは知らんかった。ゼーリエが特権を掲げて大陸魔法協会を樹立したのは妻が亡くなってほどなくしてからだ。あれほどの無力感はない。本当に皮肉なものだ。今ではわしは国ですら動かせるというのに。フェルン、わしにとって魔法は清掃の道具でしかなかった。フリーレンに伝えてくれんか。魔法が楽しいものだったと久々に思い出せた。
Lit a spark back in you, did
わし
she?
は勇者一行のフリーレンに憧れて魔法使いになったんだ。
自分で伝えてください。きっとフリーレン様も喜びますよ。
そうだな。そうしよう。
That's really cool.
さすがは魔法都市オイサーストだね。
Oh my
いい
god.
魔導書がいっぱい買えた。
Those are some big grimoires indeed.
おいババア、このカゴに入れればいいのか。あれを無視はねえだろ。
私だって少しは
I
悩
don't
ん
think
で。
these two have spoken
少し
before.
だけか。意外なもんだね。勇者ヒンメルの仲間なら。
ヒンメルの仲間なら何？
Kinda. More open.
私の方こそ意外だったかな。
Why is my eye itching so
第一次
much?
試験でフェルンたちを殺そうとしたんでしょ。フェルン愚痴ってたよ。犬とか蹴っ飛ばしてそうなやつだって。
よく言われるわな。単なる脅しだよ。まあ一人殺しておいた方が世のためになりそうなやつはいたけどな。
Fair enough.
俺は故郷の村を守るためなら何だってする。一級魔法使いになりたかったのも望む魔法が与えられる特権のためだ。強え魔法が手に入ればそれだけ魔族をぶっ殺せるからな。でもな、それと関係ない場所でも困っている奴がいたらなるべく手を差し伸べるようにしているぞ。
Very complicated, multi-layered guy.
俺の故郷は北の辺境でな。勇者ヒンメルの逸話はいくらでも残っている。宣教の塔の攻略、七宝剣、不死なるベーゼや光極竜との戦い。
The Hell Emperor
だから
Dragon.
俺はそんな冒険探が大好き
You're
だった。
telling me the Demon King was the top lad?
でも村のジジババどもはそんな話めったにしやがらねえ。やれ村を襲った魔物を退治しただの、やれ商人の護衛をしただの。ひどいもんだと単なる荷物運びまであった。
A hero to the world and to the little people.
つまんねえ話だ。そう思ったよ。なのに村のジジババは心底嬉しそうに口を揃えてそんな話をするんだ。勇者ヒンメルが死んで魔族の残党が暴れ始めてからよーくわかったよ。
Hmm. And a lot of those old folk probably died that day.
宣教の塔もベーゼも光極竜も魔王すら俺の村には関係ねえわな。
That's still such a great name.
日
The
々の
Hell
生活を
Emperor
守るので
Dragon.
手一杯だ。きっと勇者ヒンメルが俺の村に来なかったら、世界が平和になってもそこに俺の村はなかったんだろうな。
そう、何が言いたいの？
俺をここまで連れてきたのは勇者ヒンメルのくだらない冒険譚だ。俺が言いたいのはそれだけだ。少し長話は過ぎたな。結局あいつらと一緒に
Wow.
帰ることになっちまった。
Seems you formed your own party, which is kind of fun.
フリーレン、出会いは大切にしろよ。
She
根性の別れ
does.
ってのは何も死別だけじゃない。いや、百も承知か。
Ooh, is that saying we aren't going to see him again?
フリーレン、魔法で向こうまで順番に運んだりはできないのですか？
それだと私だけこっちに残っちゃうでしょ。
ヒンメル、俺たちは一刻も早く魔王を倒さねばならん。こんな小さな人助けに何の意味がある？
Because there's all sorts of ways to help
小さ
people.
な人助けだ。きっとこんなことをしたって世界は変わらない。でも僕は目の前で困っている人を見捨てるつもりはないよ。
大丈夫だよ、ヒンメル。世
Hey,
界はちゃんと変わっている。
it's one you'd be proud of, most likely.
今夜特権の授与があるのですが、同伴者がいてもいいそうです。
Of course.
せっかくですし、みんなで一緒に行きましょう。すごく嫌そうな顔してる。
What?
同伴者ありって聞いていたんですけど。
申し訳ありません。
What?
セリエ様からの通達で、フ
What?
リーレン様は出禁です。今後1000年は
What?
魔法協会の施設には立ち入らないように。
What the fuck?
フリーレン様が何をしたって言うんですか？
仕方がないよ。ゼーリエの機嫌を損ねてしまったからね。
Wow. That's
全く子供みたいな人だ、ね。
pretty petty.
まあ私も来たくて来たわけじゃないし。
That's pretty fucking petty. Poor girl will never get that fucking... will never get that title. Ever.
おーい。
Poor Frieren just made to suffer.
酔いの金だな。
そろそろ特権の授与が終わる頃かな。
ああ。
一級魔法使い。この世界で50人もいない魔法使いの頂点か。フェルンも立派になったね。
Grown in such an insignificant
この時代
time
では
span.
きっとフェルンの方が有名な魔法使いになるんだろうね。
I mean, you aren't even famous.
フリーレン。
嬉しいね。
そうだな。
フリーレン様。
Oh.
誰？
大陸魔法協会の人だね。
一級魔法使いのレルネンです。ゼイリエ様の弟子の一人です。ゼイリエ様がご迷惑をおかけしたようで。
構わないよ。昔からそういう人だったから。
どうしたんだよ、フリーレン。
やっぱり見えているね。私の魔力の揺らぎが。とんでもない手だれだ。平和な時代には似つかわしくないね。
そうですね。私は戦いしか知らない時代遅れの魔法使いです。ゼイリエ様にもよく言われます。魔王軍との戦火の時代に生まれていれば、名だたる英雄たちと共に歴史にその名を残したであろうと。
Maybe so.
そう。それで私に何の用なの？
ゼイリエ様の弟子の中で歴史に名を残したのは、もはやおとぎ話となった大魔法使いフランメのみ。私が老いて死ねば、あの方が生きた証がまた一つ消えることになります。 私はあの方を未来で一人孤独にさせたくないのです。たとえそれが伝説の魔法使いフリーレン様を討ち取ったという悪名であろうとも。
Seriously? Seriously? That's your reason, bro? Even thinking you can take down Frieren. Oh. Oh shit.
手合わせを願えますか、フリーレン様。
I mean, right now it's just
手合わ
assault.
せはしないよ。時間の無駄だ。まったく。戦いしか知らない魔法使いは不器用な連中が多いんだから。歴史に名を残す必要なんてないよ。ゼーリエはちゃんと覚えている。
And she does not care about that
最
gash
後
at
に
all.
一ついい？この花畑、魔法で作られたものだ。
それがどうした？
先生が好きだった魔法だ。くだらない魔法だって言っていなかったっけ？
正直フランメは失敗作だった。あれほどの才を持ちながら私ほどの高みへはたどり着けなかった。
Maybe. But
そ
that's
の
just
後
your
も
own
たくさんの
judgment.
弟子を取ったよ。どれも私の足元にも及ばないままほとんどが先だった。だが不思議なものだ。
Most.
気まぐ
Keyword
れで
there.
取ったはずの弟子なのに、一人一人の性格も好きな魔法も鮮明に思い出せる。
And that goes into like the thing I asked about elves in general.
なぜか私は弟
If
子を
they
取
just
って
all have like eidetic
後悔したことは
memories that they
一度もない
can't
んだ。
forget anything.
たとえ歴史にその名を残せずとも。
Stuff they pay attention to at least. Frieren didn't remember the
自分の弟
interaction
子
with
にすら
Highmore.
素直に気持ちを伝えられないんだ。本当に子供みたいな人だよ。
Frieren really is growing up a lot more than her.
フリーレン様、特権の授与が終わりました。
Cool.
じゃあ行こうか。
フリーレン様、その方の怪我どうしたんですか？
教会で治療しないとね。まだやってるかな。
本当に不器用な人だ。あなたも私も。
I mean, it goes to reason. You are her
シュタルク、
a
今日は
student.
何して遊ぶ？
悪いな。兄ちゃん今日は遊べないんだ。
シュタルク、朝飯は食ったか？
もう食べたよ。
シュタルク、これ
Wow.
飲んでおいきよ。
This is his
ありが
village.
とう。
部の道は深く険しい。
Oh, maybe not, because this is the old guy.
あ
Alright, I guess every
これで
village just
オイ
loves
サーストとのお
Stark.
別れだね。
シュタルク様はどこに行っても慕われていますね。
そう
Yeah.
か。
Very interesting
ところで
effect.
フェルン、昨日はどんな魔法をもらったの？
A spell to fix my staff whenever I want.
わかりませんか？
服が綺麗になっている。それになんかフローラルな香りがする。これはまさか。
服の汚れをきれいさっぱり落とす魔法です。
Oh,
これで洗濯が楽になります。
fair enough.
さすがは生ける魔導書ゼーリエだね。神話の時代に存在したとされる伝説的な
Truly
魔
a
法
spell she would call useless.
でかしたフェルン。
Aww.
それでこそ私の弟子だ。
当然です、フリーレン様。
I still would like to know what everyone else chose
す
though.
ごく嫌そうな顔をして。
That fucking face, finally!
いい
Okay.
君だ。
That face for sure is just an elf thing. Undoubtedly. It's just like, are you kidding me? I don't even know why I have this spell and yet you want it.
本当にありがとうね。
私たちは不合格だったけれども、3年後また頑張ることにするよ。
そう、よかった。
楽しかったよ。
元気でね。
じゃあまたね。
またね。
Until the next time, you two.
ザイン様の時もそうでしたけど、随分あっさり別れますね。
クラフトの時もだ。
Hey.
ってさ、すごくあっさり人と別れるよね。
変かな。
まあらしくないとは思うな。依頼とはいえ2週間も旅路を共にした仲だ。それに彼とは毎晩のように酒を酌み交わして、それはもう
生臭坊主。
そうだね。でも旅を続けてまた会うことだってあるだろう。涙の別れなんて僕たちには似合わない。だってまた会った時に恥ずかしいからね。
And I guess that's that. Sadly, we didn't quite learn what everyone else's spells were, but hey, it is what it is in the end. I like how the funnest shot we ever saw of SERIE was just that face. But that's alright, because we obviously still have more to come someday. These are the longest characters we've actually spent time with, so possibly see them again. Where's Yubel and... Oh, is she actually on her own? Nice, bro, got a picture of this girl! Lullaby for you to come back home. And we still have a little more. Where on earth?
何ですかそれは。
Rather abrupt there, Frieren. It would be embarrassing when we meet again. Of course. Yeah, that's been obvious for a little while now that, you know, we weren't done. We're not done with the story of Frieren. And, you know, I don't know how long we're going to have to wait. Again, I don't think there's any kind of news or, you know, there's been any confirmations on how the story exactly would continue. But obviously, someday, somehow, we are going to continue on with the story of Frieren, which is pretty good, you know, because I have definitely loved and enjoyed my my experience with Frieren. I didn't know how I'd feel about the series overall when I started, but it's really good. Honestly, it's really good. It's very realistic, you know. I feel like it's a show a lot of people, regardless of the genre that you know, regardless of the genre that you're most, you know, into, can relate to. You know, I feel that's where it gets a lot of people. It's just how realistic it is and how much people can relate to it, you know, given the connections and, you know, relationships and whatnot that people, you know, create and, you know, I keep saying that, just get involved in society. You know, it's all about being social. It's all about forming bonds and relationships and whatnot. And unfortunately, a lot of those relationships, through various different means and methods, do end up going out. You know, in the words of Verbal, death isn't the only thing that means goodbye. You know, and that is definitely true. And I do wonder, and hope not entirely, that that does mean that if it means whether or not we are done with these characters whatsoever. Obviously, these ones are the characters that we've spent the most time with throughout the series, at least on the journey, because, you know, this entire arc has gone on for about 10, 11-ish episodes at this point, which, you know, for this series was quite a lot. You know, and it makes me wonder if, well, the overall theme of Frieren is very much slice of life, and its approach and whatnot. It makes me curious if we are going to get any more lengthy, possibly even lengthier, arcs than this one in the future. You know, at max though, I do give the series just one more season, because again, we got to pretty much the exact halfway point in this very episode, or in this season. At the start of this arc, we're about 4 years into the journey, you know, so I'd imagine maybe one more season, and if you really want to push more, possibly a movie, or some specials, OVAs, anything like that. That's my only kind of real theory for that. Because it feels like that would make the most sense, right? Like, obviously, again, Season 1, 28 episodes, really around 25-ish, around the 2 call mark, because, again, episodes 1 to 4 were released as one big special. So that's kind of my thought process for how we're going to continue on with the story like that. But either way, like I said, I've really enjoyed this show. You know, it's been really fun. Frieren, love her. Fern, love her. Stark, rip. I'm joking, I do love Stark, but obviously, rip the guy. And I even love a couple of the characters that we met around here. You know, Ubel, that's my biggest takeaway. Even Verbal, I mean, I didn't think much of him at the start, but he's such a multi-layered character with his own reasons, you know, for being the kind of person he is, and his own, and for his own mindsets on how things work in the magic industry. It's really cool to see. You know, again, the series really does portray its bonds with certain characters beautifully, to a point to where, again, you, the audience, get really connected to these characters as well, and it's absolutely been the vibe you've got with Frieren. You know, I've loved it. Not every episode's been incredible or amazing, but it's been really fun. And I guess the big thing I can hope for when we go into the when we continue Frieren someday is that we do get to see some of these characters again. You know, again, it's kind of the double-edged sword where it's like, you know, you meet people in life and then you just move on, and that is the big thing. And you don't do that. You know, again, Verbal's words, it's like, death is not the only goodbye. How much does that really apply to these center characters here? You know, are we not going to see them again? Are we not going to find out what their journey leads to? Or by the time are we at the end of the series, are we going to see the end game for all of these characters by the end? You know, are we going to see how Verbal used his time? We're going to see what Ubel's ending was. Are we just going to see these characters to give one final closure on them, as well as Frieren and her group at the end of the story? And is that going to be the true ending? I don't know. But either way, like I said, this has been really fun. This is a bit of a bittersweet kind of video, I would say, because yes, I have loved Frieren. Frieren is like a first-class waifu. It's kind of weird trying to just say the character and the series in of itself, but I have loved Frieren herself. And again, while it's bitter to see this series go, I'm really looking forward to the next one that's going to be replacing this series as well, so this is kind of bittersweet for me. But I don't think I've really seen a series, I would say, that emotionally attaches you quite as much as Frieren does. I didn't cry too much. I don't think, in the series at all. But I really got it. I really got there, you know. I don't really cry too much on camera anymore, I would say. But I really got into the series. I've really enjoyed it. Like I said, the fact that it plays on just the aftermath and the, you know, the more peaceful kind of scenarios you would go through in life after a big journey. Because I feel like it's a big thing that a lot of people would want to be the main character in a story. A lot of people want to be isekai'd out of this world. And then you see this story, it's like, well, the big battle's done now. You know, the journey of the MC and his party are done. And then you really pay attention and focus on the little things in life that those people experience once the journey's over, right? Because that's the thing about life. Not every journey, not every adventure will last, you know, till the end of time. Eventually, it's going to end. And eventually, you're going to have to move on. Eventually, you're going to have to mature and, you know, adapt to the new ways of life, which is just how life is pretty much inevitable for every single, you know, person out there. But just because the journey's over, doesn't mean there's not new meanings to find in life, and doesn't mean there's not new experiences and things to treasure, as we have seen with Frieren throughout this entire adventure. But yeah, guys, that was great. Obviously, the journey is not over for you and me. The journey is not over for the fans. We're about halfway through now, and while it is time to say goodbye to Frieren as a series for, you know, the time being, I can definitely say that I have loved it. I've really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I did decide to do this series, you know. Both a double-edged sword that as well, because A, yes, I did it right around the time that it ended, but B, now I gotta wait the full length for it to come back, which sucks. But no. Thank you everyone that has watched my Frieren reactions. Hope you have enjoyed them. I have loved it. Frieren, top character for me. I don't feel like that's any kind of that's probably not too controversial. But I'm sure that's the other thing, you know. I imagine a lot of people have different reasons and cult different attachments to all different characters. So I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if not everyone's favourite was Frieren. Or even just the party members in general. I'd be really curious whose favourite character a lot of people are. So if you have a favourite character that's not Frieren, feel free to comment it and say why. Because, hey, I'm sure everyone took a different perspective and a different take from this series anyway, and felt a different emotional connection to certain people. So yeah, feel free to say why you chose these characters. Oops. But yes, guys, that's going to do it for Frieren. Hope you guys have enjoyed these reactions from me. I've enjoyed the series, and, you know, I promise that when Frieren does come back at some point, I will try, depending on where I am in life and on the channel, I will try to react to it weekly, so I don't, you know, miss out on anything, so that I'm right there. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this series with me, and hopefully, I'll see you guys next time.